Here's the deal, D-Mac. Last night, the Tigers game. And Spenny, you have it. They bring him out there. The Chicago Cubs crowd gives that man a standing ovation. He looks like Lou Gehrig announcing his retirement out there on the field. And then proceeds to go 0 for 4, 4 strikeouts, swinging at pitches in the other batter's box all the time. And we've talked about him a lot here. Led by me, we have. And we've talked about the impact on us, the fans, everything like that. D-Mac, it's different now. He cannot be here anymore. He cannot be here next opening day. He can't be. And here's the reason why. You got guys out there. You got Tarek Skubal, who's a Triple Crown winning pitcher, going to win the Cy Young. Riley Green is an all-star. Spencer Torkelson hit 30 home runs plus last year. Has gone into the depths of hell and is fighting his way back. And had a 4-hit night last night. 4-hit night. They score 1 run. Javi's in every critical moment in the game. He strikes out every single time. D-Mac, we're past this now. Okay? He cannot be here anymore. He can't be here anymore. How are you going to look Spencer Torkelson and Riley Green and Tarek Skubal and Kerry Carpenter and all these guys that are grinding? Still grinding, and you trot the worst everyday player in baseball out there, and it is spread. It's more than Javi watch, and it's more than the ha-ha, he. It's more than that. D-Mac, he has a negative impact on this team. He handcuffs A.J. Hinch, and I can't take it anymore. I can't. This isn't Javi watch, guys. It's not that. These guys are battling. Riley Green's an all-star. Tarek Skubal's a soon-to-be Cy Young winner. And Javi Baez is out there doing that. You cannot have it anymore. He can't be here anymore. And why? What's the reason? Is it the money? No, I'm not buying that anymore. I'm not buying it anymore. Get him out of here, Spenny. Get him out now. At least by opening day next year, he cannot be here. You cannot do this to the rest of this team. And they're being pros. They are. They're being A.J. Hinch. And what the tipping point was even before last night. It was listening to A.J. Hinch on the pregame show on the radio when I was driving around town. And he said, yeah, we're going to kind of limit Javi's at-bats. We're not going to banish him or anything like that. I heard it in his voice. Mm-hmm. He has to do it. Totally. A.J. Hinch is a pro. He's a World Series winning manager. Riley Green's an all-star. Skubal's a soon-to-be Cy Young. You can't do that to these guys, D-Mac. You can't do it anymore. You can't have the worst everyday player in baseball out there when these young guys are out here trying to find their way. And look, you're going to have nights when you have kids out there. I know as a team that struck out, 12, 13 times, whatever it was, you're going to have nights like that. That happens with the kids. We think we got something here, D-Mac. And I'm not saying he's a bad guy, and I'm not coming at him personally. It can't be like this anymore. Professionally, you can't continue to have this guy out here submarining everything you're trying to do. It's past money. It's past all of that, D-Mac. Enough. If he's here next opening day, that is an insult. Not to me, because I'm here. I'm always going to be here every single night. I'm going to listen on the radio. I'm going to pay the money and watch on TV. You don't owe me anything. Remember, I'm not saying me, and I'm not saying us. You don't owe me anything. I'm always going to be here for better or for worse. But for those guys in that locker room, and in particular Spencer Torkelson, who's trying to save his career and has a 4-hit night, and in every big moment that he set up, here comes Javi Baez swinging at a pitch in the on-deck circle. Like, we can't have it anymore. You owe these guys better. The guys in that locker room, the guys who are accomplished in this game, you owe it to them. And D-Mac, this isn't, for me, look, it's not a meltdown. It's not, I'm worked up about it, yeah, because I'm worked up about those guys in that locker room. And I don't know what the reason is, but we know what the reason is. So whoever needs to hear this, who's in control of that, please hear this. You owe this to those guys in the locker room. You owe it to them. You cannot do this anymore for money. We've all bought shit we didn't like. We've all had buyer's remorse. You got to go fix it.
Yeah.
For those guys.
I think the imperativeness of what you're saying is we've realized a long time ago, and I'm going to use the analogy of there's a disease there.
Mm-hmm.
But until now, is he a contagious disease? And does it affect? He's supposed to be your leader in the locker room. And you bring up different things and, about Spencer Torkelson and the young guy. Look at what the movement is. It's to give these young guys a chance. And if this is their leader and showing you the way to do it, I'm sorry. You nailed it. I don't think anything's going to be done the rest of this year. I think that what we've seen is there's a making of a baseball team here, right? And there's a sore thumb sitting right in the middle. Now, before, with all these younger guys and all-star like Riley Green, who's young, Terry Skubal, Cy Young, Torkelson trying to get his game back, the guys
trying to save his career, and this man's up there doing that.
I do not believe that anything will be done, even though what a great picture or moment that he got, right? Which would be the perfect way. Here, Javi, here's your moment. Now we're done.
Right.
It's going to be done until next year. The imperative thing is in the off season, and that he's not part of moving forward. And if it is just about the dollar to buy him out or get rid of him or do whatever you need,
then fix it.
Yeah. I agree. You're not. It's Kenny. I said before the show. Neil ain't on the smack. Dude.
No,
This is the most sobering it's been, and the big reason is because now I think Javi Baez will affect the rest of the guys in that locker room.
Absolutely.
Not maybe consciously because they're going out, but time after time after time, it's got to wear on you. And so something needs to be done. I don't expect it to be done before the end of the season, but we'll be interested in the offseason because it is blatant. And it's also blatant that you got the makings of some youth that excited for, because if this team sucked and this was 6 years ago, who cares?
Right.
He's just another one of those guys. No, now he's an outlier, and it's affecting the rest of the team.
And it's affecting it in performance. I'll keep it between the lines. I've had people from organizations that told me, like, Neil, hey, you get worked up, but you keep it between the lines. You cannot put the worst everyday player in baseball out there with this lineup now. He cannot be here opening day next year. He can't.
Right,
whatever you got to do, you got to raise the price of hot and ready's $1. Whatever. You got to raise ticket prices. I'll take a 20-game package right now. I'll give you my credit card number now. Whatever it takes.
I'll buy some pizza kits.
Right.
Yeah, they're taking base.
Yeah.
Spendy will do it right now.
Oh, my God.
Whatever it takes. I'm begging you. Don't do this to those guys in the locker room anymore.
You're fired.
Don't do this. And look, it's funny and everything, but KG, for real.
No, I hear
It's
you.
not that. It's AJ Hinch. It's Tarek Skubal.
Yes, I
It's
hear you.
Riley Green, an all-star. And look, those guys are kids, man.
Yeah.
I was talking with D-Mac, and I like to run this stuff by D-Mac because it's real-world application. I'm in locker rooms to a degree, but I'm not in locker rooms pregame, and I'm not in locker rooms postgame. That man was, and I had to run this by him and say, look, am I full of shit here, or like what is it? Because they're kids, so you're not going to hear them go to the media. AJ Hinch is too polished, all that stuff. It's just you can't continue to do this to them. And I asked you, D-Mac. Am I warm here? Am I on the right track? And I wanted to ask you.
And you're warm because of the youth. And because of the youth, you mentioned it earlier, you're willing to take your knocks and you're willing to, the youth are going to have 12 strikeouts, but not with the guy that's supposed to be your leader. Your leader is supposed to be, what the Kerry Carpenters do.
Yeah. And the highest paid person on your team.
This isn't college. It's not college sports. The leader has to perform. It's professional baseball. The leader has to perform. He cannot be the worst everyday player in baseball. He can't be a leader. D-Mac, tell me I'm wrong.
No,
you cannot be a leader in pro sports if you can't play.
What is the youth? And what are the younger guys who are coming in? What do they look to? It's just, which way do you want to be led? And you're going to be led more astray. Like, there's a difference. And production for what he used. Like, put him on the bench. Play the rest of the guys. You know, keep him around. Because obviously they're not getting rid of him.
Right.
But just take him out of the lineup and go through it, because you put him in the lineup, it's just automatic. It's right. And he gets hot for here and there, and we joke about how Mago's back or whatever. But what he can do, and it's not. It's the psyche. And to me, it's because you're going with the youth movement. If you weren't going with the youth movement and you were going with a bunch of guys that weren't going to be here in the future and whatever, then he fits in with that. But that's not what we've got. We like some of this youth. You look at everybody's cheering for Spencer Torkelson to get back on track, just sort of like Parker Meadows did when he was down there. We got to, like, that's the frustrating thing, Neil, because you watch and you're dialed in, and we got a baseball team. The makings of a baseball team, except for that one spot. The big thing in the locker room, right? And I mentioned you. So the Javi Baez to the Nate Sudfeld, right? Where the value in the locker room. Javi Baez can't have enough value in the locker room to what he does on the field because he's your leader. Nate Sudfeld isn't your leader. He is a accessory piece that doesn't cost you much, that helps your quarterback out.
You nailed it, D-Mac, when you said Nate Sudfeld is more valuable than Javi Baez.
Absolutely. 100,000,000%.
He's more valuable.
And we see that and we hear that, and you wonder why he's still the number 2 and what he does in helping the team and Jared Goff get prepared. That's what you need at the minimum out of Javi Baez, right? But then you got to watch him be unproductive.
It is. It's not Stephen David. Javi can't be in the lineup today. You got to get Sweeney in there. And look, I don't know what the answer is to that. Spenny, can you please put that picture up again, please? It was a culmination. And you remember Sunday night, I was into it, man.
Yeah, you were.
Boo them kids and the Canadian Little Leaguers rooting for the Yankees. But the pregame graphics of the Little League game had Aaron Judge and Javi Baez. Look at this picture. You would think he's Lou Gehrig. Today, I consider myself the luckiest man.
Yeah.
That's it. Put him down.
That's enough.
That's enough. That's enough. And I don't know what it was about that picture that made this come out of me emotionally.
That should be the last page of the book. That
should be
the back cover.
It should.
Close the book on Javi Baez with that picture right there. Now he's done.
Thank you for your time as a Tiger, which wasn't shit.
That's the picture you put out, because I know we got to put social media appreciation posts when guys who stink leave town. So when you do it for Harvey, that can be the picture that you use. I don't care. He can't be here anymore. One person anywhere, be it in Major League Baseball, a fan watching Woodward, a Tigers fan anywhere. One person anywhere, tell me how I'm wrong.
No.
And here's the deal too. Aaron to the Stone. I just pray Chris is watching so he can hear Neil's impassioned plea for our Tigers, because something's got to change. It starts with Almago being gone today. And Aaron, look, they want to ride it out through the season. Opening day next year, he cannot be here. I hate what he represents. I don't hate him personally. It's not personal. I hate the OPS. I do hate that.
Yeah.
And that's fair, because it's one of the worst in baseball.
Contract.
I hate the contract because it's one of the worst in Detroit sports history. Jordan Zimmerman looks at his contract and goes, man, that's a bad contract.
Absolutely.
He cannot be here.
I hear you.
This isn't, guys, like, look, I think you guys know me well enough at this point where I'm not just up here, how am I going to get people riled? I live this every day of my life. I told you that the thing that set me off was listening to A.J. Hinch's radio interview yesterday, which I'm a dork. I try not to miss it. Because I want to hear him talk every day.
I'm not mad at it. But
that's how important it is to me.
And Neil, I've told you all along that you are not wrong. I've been saying it all year. It appears that he was handcuffed from the jump. This is a guy that he benched last year.
Then you weren't serious about winning at any point.
Exactly.
And all this stuff, spending all those opening day beers you pounded, and all the pictures that we took.
That shit means something to me.
It means something to this man. You think he's just doing it to do it?
I hear you.
No.
But I did want to ask you this. Does it at least give you a little bit of hope that they are limiting his at-bats at this point? Because that's the beginning of the end in baseball. You know, once they start limiting the at-bats, they start sending you on the bench. That's the beginning of the end.
KG, I'll always go back to this and to the point there where Almagro needs to be gone today. If he's gone in the offseason, why didn't you just do it today?
I understand.
Why didn't you just do it in May when you still had a chance?
I get you, but we're in August now.
He lost that game yesterday.
I get you.
He lost that game yesterday.
But the team would benefit if they did it in the offseason. I mean, this year is lost. There's nothing we can do about this.
But what would they benefit then that they wouldn't benefit now that they wouldn't have benefited from in May?
I understand you.
And then that's my question to the organization. Why?
Well, we know that.
Why?
We know that.
That's little Chris.
See it all. I almost got you.
Almost.
I almost got
Little
you.
Chris knocking over them garbage cans.
Let's go here and D-Mac here. And I know we're late for the break, but guys, this was serious this morning. It was. It's not ha ha he he, slapdick stuff. It's not.
Yeah.
This is serious. Let's go Red Wings Sparty. Can't preach. Please listen to this one, D-Mac. Can't preach commanding the strike zone and expect the kids to follow when Almagro is constantly getting a pass and doing the exact opposite. I go to you, Darren McCarty, 4-time champion in your sport.
Said that?
That was Let's Go Red Wings Sparty.
Thank you. Let's go Red Wings Party. On the same page as always. That's exactly what it is, right? Discipline, what's allowed, what's not. And it's not consciously. It's subconsciously. And to go back to it was easy in our locker room with all the Hall of Famers, and when your best players, your Steve Eismans, your Igor Larionovs, your Nick Lidstroms, were your hardest working guys. You just follow them around. Same thing is what they do on the ice. If I see Steve Eisman blocking a shot and back checking, well, I got to do it 3 times as hard. That's what
And you're pissed about it because now I got to go block 3 shots.
You even mentioned that Kenny mentioned it too. 100 million % AJ Hinch is handcuffed on what he wants to do. He's been handcuffed the whole time. I bet he'd shoot him out of a cannon.
Absolutely.
He tries to bench him and he tries to take him out and he tries whatever. The discipline, you even mentioned, how long's he been here and you got AJ Hinch still talking about, you got to come in. Like that outside pitch, we all know.
Yeah, it's a song and dance.
We all know it's the same thing, but to the point where Let's Go Red, that's exactly what it is that will seep down to the undisciplined that you don't want.
And that's why if you don't
get better when your guys that's supposed to be your leader and your alpha and you look to and he can't even be disciplined to even show that he's trying.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, what if we're sitting here and Javi's standing like Ernie Harwell say, like a house to the side of the road, and they throw those pitches and he takes them for strike 3. I'm not going to be as mad because they don't throw them in the strike zone for strike 3. They're always out there.
Yes, sir.
So I'm sending you up like Roger Doherty either to get hit by the pitch or take a walk.
The
bad.
moral of the story is this. He cannot be here next opening day, and it's not for us. It's not for the fans. It's not for the people at Woodward. None of that. It's for the guys in that locker room. Tell me how I'm wrong. Tell me how I'm wrong. And look, most of them are kids in there. They don't have that kind of juice yet where they can go knock on the owner's door and say, get this guy out of here. Mm-hmm. And maybe they like him. As a man, maybe they like him. And maybe I would too. But the bottom line is this. The worst everyday player in baseball. You lose games you shouldn't because he's out there every day. All right. I had to get that out. Spenny, I'm sorry.
Hey, Neil,
I had to get that off my chest.
Skydog gets off his whatever the fuck he's on. Do we not agree who's fully responsible is Chris Ilitch for this?
We know.
He's solely responsible for this.
So
exactly.
Yes, this up your ass, you fucking idiot.
Solely responsible because the decision could by noon he could be
fucking
gone.
Donkeys.
He could.
You're
by
all,
noon.
like a whole bunch of donkeys.
You cannot do this to the rest of that locker room anymore.